Hi folks, today we're going to go over your chemical startup for the chlorine kit that came with your spa. As you can see at this point, we've gone ahead and filled the spa up and we set the temperature to over 90 degrees. We recommend always having the water over 90 degrees when you're adding your chemicals to your water. For those of you that are on a well, we recommend using a product called Metal Gone, which you can acquire at any of our stores just to help with basically neutralizing any of the copper, zinc, iron that may be in your water from a well source. But in this case, now that we have the spa full, we can go about basically finding our baseline and testing the water with the test strips that are provided. So for that, first thing we're going to do is take a single test strip out of the bottle, and we're just going to go ahead and wand it through the water, okay? As we do so, we're going to take that test strip and just go ahead and line it up with the different elements that we're testing for on the strip here. The four elements that you're going to see on the strip are going to be your calcium level, your pH, your alkalinity, as well as your sanitizer, in this case chlorine. Okay? So step number one, we're going to look at the pH and alkalinity. Now, in your startup kit here, provided for you should be a chemical called Spa Up, and in most cases that's what we're going to go ahead and use to go about increasing the pH and alkalinity. Some of you may have extremely low alkalinity and may need to actually use a separate alkalinity increaser to raise that level up to an acceptable amount. Everything you see on the test strip is going to be measured in parts per million. So as we look at the pH and alkalinity, we'll make an adjustment to the water as needed with this Spa Up to bring those levels to that range where it's ideal or acceptable. Okay? Once our water is balanced, and that also includes the calcium, on the calcium we're going to go ahead and just measure for a small amount of calcium in the water. In our area in general, calcium is seen in most cases pretty low. If there's no calcium whatsoever, you may need to use a calcium booster. But once we have the water balanced, then we can go about adding our sanitizer, obviously chlorine in this case. So what they recommend is for 500 gallons, adding a half ounce to the water, and we're going to make sure all the pumps are on, the jets are running as we do so. So we'll introduce this chemical to the water, and what we're looking for is when we test on the strip, we want to see this measure out at this range of 3 to 5 parts per million for chlorine. Now you also have another chemical in the kit, which is your shock, also called Renew, and that is exactly what this is. It's going to help to renew the chlorine in your water so you can maintain it at that level of that 2 to 3 parts per million. Okay? If you notice that that number starts to decrease, this will help to raise that number, as well as we recommend periodically what would be described as hyperchlorinating the water or raising the chlorine level to a little bit higher, just to make sure your water is clear of any organics and it's staying nice and bright. Okay.